It's raining heavy tonight, and lucky for you, I've got 2 stories. So get comfy, get relaxed, and let's begin. The storm started just after midnight, turning the world outside your window into a blurred, shifting sea of dark water and distorted shadows. It's the kind of rain that drowns out all other sounds, the kind of rain that isolates you completely. You sit in the dark, watching the water sheet down the glass. The street lights outside are dim, casting long, fractured shadows across your bedroom floor. It feels safe in here, locked away from the storm. But then, you notice the rhythm of the rain change. Or perhaps it isn't the rain. Down on the street, beneath the flickering amber glow of the furthest street light, a shape is standing. A tall, impossibly still silhouette. It has no umbrella, no raincoat, it's just standing there. Face turned upwards towards your window, letting the freezing water pour directly over its features. You tell yourself it's just a trick of the light, a shadow cast by the wind violently shaking the branches of the old oak tree. You close your eyes, take a deep breath, and count to 5. When you open your eyes, the figure is closer. It is standing at the edge of your yard now. The water is pooling around its boots, but it doesn't move. You try to look, but you can't see its eyes through the dark and the glass, but you know that it is staring directly at you. The figure is just standing there, watching you breathe, and waiting for the thunder to clap so it can take another step forward without making a sound. Your bedroom feels colder now. The heater hums, but the air against your skin is icy. You want to look away, to draw the curtains and pretend the outside world doesn't exist. But your eyes are locked onto the shape. Suddenly, a flash of lightning illuminates the yard for a fraction of a second. In that brief, blinding white light, you see it clearly. It isn't a shadow, and it isn't a stranger. It is wearing your clothes. It has your posture. And as the light fades back into pitch black, you hear a faint, wet tap directly against your window. Not the sound of a raindrop, but the sound of a fingernail. That's the first story. And for this next one, you don't have to imagine yourself in this scenario. But I want you to picture it. A rainy night, a town just like yours, 2 people walking home, just like you might have done 100 times. This next story is The Walk Home. since the early evening. Elliott noticed it first, the way it changed for town, the way familiar streets looked different when everything was wet and dark, and reflecting the orange glow of the street lamps back at you. Elliott and Kate had stayed too long at the restaurant. They always did. One more drink turned into two, turned into three, and suddenly it was past midnight, and the town had emptied around them without them noticing. They both shared an umbrella, but was slightly too small for two people. Kate kept pulling it towards her, and Elliott kept pretending not to notice. "We should have called a cab," she said. "It's 15 minutes, said Elliott. "We walk it every week." Kate replied, "Not at midnight, not in this." Elliott didn't respond, and the rain intensified briefly, drumming hard on the umbrella, and they walked faster without discussing it. The route home took them down 3 streets. The high street first, still faintly lit by shop windows and the occasional passing car. Then the narrow lane, narrower and darker, the old Victorian terraces pressing close on both sides, and then finally the long road, which ran along the edge of the recreation ground. It was an open ground, dark, no street lamps on the parkside, just a black expanse of wet grass stretching away into the dark. They both didn't like this road at night. Neither of them had ever said so out loud. They turned onto the lane, and that was when Kate slowed down. "Elliott." "What?" he said. "Don't look back yet. Just keep walking. Is there someone behind us?" He kept walking and counted to 3, then glanced back over his shoulder casually, the way you do when you're pretending you're not looking. But there was someone behind them. Maybe about 40 feet back, standing under the narrow overhang of a shop doorway, completely still, watching them. "He's probably just waiting out the rain," Elliott said. "They were there when we turned onto the lane," Kate said quietly. "I saw them at the end of the high street." Elliott didn't say anything, and they kept walking. He counted to 30 and looked back again. This time, the figure had moved. Still behind them, still the same distance, walking at the same pace they were walking, matching them both exactly. "Okay," Elliott said. "We will walk faster," and they began to pace. Another 30 seconds went by, and he looked back again. This time, just 25 feet. Still the same pace, still matching them exactly, gaining without appearing to it. Kate gripped his arm. They were halfway down the lane, the terraces pressed close on both sides, the rain turning the cobblestones slick and black beneath their feet. The umbrella was useless now. The wind had picked up and the rain was coming sideways, soaking their legs and soaking their shoes. "Cross the road," Elliott said. "See if they follow." And they both crossed. He then counted to 10 and looked back, but the figure had crossed too. Same distance, same pace. Kate made a sound that wasn't quite a word. "Don't run," Elliott said, his voice lower than intended. absolutely silent except for the rain. The path ran along the iron fence that bordered it. The parkside in complete darkness, the roadside lit by a single line of street lamps that seemed suddenly very far apart. Elliott looked back. The figure had turned onto the road behind them, but something had changed. This time it was closer, much closer. 15 feet, maybe less, and it was taller than he remembered, or at least it seemed taller. It was hard to tell in the dark and the rain, hard to be sure of anything. Elliott, I see it. Why is it? I don't know. Should we? Yes, he said. Run. They ran. The umbrella turned inside out immediately and Elliott let it go. They ran along the fence, shoes hitting the wet pavement. The park dark and silent beside them, the street lights strobing past overhead. Elliott looked back once, and the figure was running too, but it wasn't gaining. It was keeping pace, exactly. Whatever speed they ran, it matched, neither closing the distance nor falling behind, just following. They reached the end of the road, their street, their house. Elliott had his keys out before they hit the garden path, had the door open in seconds, and they were inside with the door locked and bolted behind them before either of them spoke. They stood in the hallway, breathing hard, soaking wet, the rain hammering against the front door. What was that? Kate said. Wasn't really a question. Elliott moved to the window, looked out carefully, standing to the side so he could see without being seen. The street was empty. Nothing at the gate, nothing on the pavement, just the rain and the street lamps with the empty road. It's gone, he said, and Kate didn't answer. He turned around. She was standing at the end of the hallway, very still, looking at the floor. Kate. She pointed. He looked down. There were wet footprints on the hallway floor, leading from the front door, past where they were both standing, and up the stairs. That's all for tonight. The rain's still coming down. Let it. You're safe. You're warm. And whatever's out there in the dark tonight, it's not here. Close your eyes. I'll be back soon with more stories. And until then, sleep well. I'm going to leave you with the rain, and the video will gradually get darker from here on out. Thank you so much for taking your time tonight to join me in the storm. Let me know in the comments which stories you preferred, and if you are still awake, don't worry, I will leave you now with the sound of the rain. So